Hi everybody, it's crazy. It's Monday. It's time for the UPBGE video of the week. Now before I get started, gotta give a shout out to my trusted coach. You guys rock. To my crazy fam, I love you guys. Alright, so yesterday was Mother's Day, so if you're a mother and watch my videos, happy belated Mother's Day. Last week we left off with, let me see if I can get it right. Yes, this time I get it right. Okay, so we left off at the bottom of page 19 in the Game Engine book, which is in the description. If you ain't got it and you don't have the files, get them. They actually help you out. Okay, so we left off with Python and the Game Engine is what we're going to talk about today. The file that we were using is called not my game, but object-oriented programming. And it's called oop.blend, and you got things you can work with. Here goes some of the script that makes the whole thing run. Okay, so we went over this in the not this last video, but the video before, and so just to show you a little bit about what coding's about, scripting is about as well. Learn a little bit of Python. I had my link in the description last week. If not, I had my link up last week, but this week, if you want it, it's in the description below. Drop on out over there, or you can look into my YouTube channel and find the videos there. Alright, so let's get started. There we go. Okay, Python in the Game Engine. I'm going to actually put it back just because it's boring to watch me line by line. Alright, so this whole chapter is organized into three main parts. Why, what, and how. Thus, if you have read from the beginning, you already have solid reasons to start using scripts for your project, and you understand what Python is. The final part of this chapter will cover how to use your Python knowledge inside the game engine. This part is divided into 4 sub-modules. Okay, so the first one's going to be integrating Python in the game engine, writing your Python scripts, and designing your script using the game engine and game engine API. Those are the 4 things that we're going to be going. So the first one we're going to start off with, and we might not be able to make all 4 of these today. I'm going to try, but if we can't, we'll just leave it at wherever we leave off. Okay, so the first one is integrating Python in the game engine. In the game engine, the script interface is controller-centric by design. Therefore, you can consider the Python script simply as a more complex controller to replace the expression or the Boolean controllers. In these cases, the script will be responsible for controlling how the sensors are related with the actuators of the given object. In fact, the sensors, actuators, and even the object where you are calling the script from are all attributes of the controller. Okay, as we mentioned earlier, with Python, reread that. With a Python script, you can control external devices, control multiple objects at once, and much more. However, you will never be free from using a logic brick framework, and from the combination of logic bricks, individual sensors, global sensors, and actuators, the elegance of your system will arise. Okay? In the first example, you will find a very simple case study of how to make your Python controller work. It will cover the basic behavior of receiving sensors input in this script and triggering actuators from it. Okay, so what we're going to do now, since you're over here already, we're going to go over here to File. We're going to click on Open. Should already be in Chapter 7, if not. Okay. You come down here to chapters and make sure you get the files. Okay, make sure you have the files because they help out a lot. Okay, go to chapter 7, and we're going to be doing 3 underscore template, and then abracadabra.blend. Okay, that's the one we're going to be doing today. All right, so ABRA. All right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to switch over here so you can see. We're going to be making the abracadabra spin. This abracadabra, get off of that. We're going to make the regular abracadabra spin and put on letters, I guess. Okay, so switch it back over here. Okay, so we're going to make this spin and add letters, I believe. Alright. see. Launch the game and keep the space bar pressed. Oh, it's already done for us. Okay. So we're gonna launch the game. Hit P on your controller, on your keyboard, and then hit the space. Yeah, it spins. So that's what it's showing. So we're not gonna be adding that. It's just showing you how it works. So keep doing it forever. Okay. All right. So escape. We'll go back to normal. Okay. In figure 7.5, you can see the result before and after you press the key, which we saw up top there in your book. Can you read the spinning text? Yes. It may not be impressive, but it certainly is didactic. Didactic. You can pronounce that word, please let me know. It may have Google do it. Alright, here is the script behind this effect. Now what I'm going to do, and actually it's a script right here. Okay, this exact script is what it's talking about. That's the README. I believe it has more, yeah, there it is. This is the one it's talking about. The scene, yeah. A little bit more entailed, but in the newer one, this is what it looks like. It doesn't have to have all the extra stuff in it because you're adding different things because logic's already there. Okay, so you got your controller and your owner already set, okay, which is down here instead of above. Alright, then you got your sensors and your if statement and your else statement. If this happens, if this doesn't happen, then this happens. Okay, that's what an else is. So you're going to use an if statement. If this happens, that's going to happen. If it doesn't, okay, else, it will do this. So when you get used to these statements, those right there actually help out a lot too. Your if statements are big time useful, and also your else statements, and you have if statements, which is if this works but doesn't do this, you can go to this. Okay, that's your LF. All right, this script is triggered from a keyboard sensor, which is right here. Space bar, okay, triggers this script, and what does it do? It makes it spin on the z-axis at -10 degrees. Okay, so if I exit out of this just to where it's standing, you see the camera is sitting this way, but the lettering is sitting at the same angle. Okay, so when you hit circle, it looks like it's on that, but its axis is actually Z this way, you know, and then green, and then yellow, okay, or red, sorry, red and green. Alright, so when this spins, it's going to spin this way because it's spinning on the Z-axis, which is here. As you look over to this corner, there goes your Z-axis, which is basically right here, okay? Your Y goes this way, and then your X goes this way and this way, okay? Even though it's angled, that's still your Z-axis because that's the way it's set, okay? Alright, so the script is triggered from the keyboard sensor, runs from a controller in the camera object, activates an actuator in the camera itself, and changes the property in the text object. Okay? So, you get your space bar. Oops, hang on, let me go back to the camera. It's set to the camera, okay? So you got it on the camera, and you get the space bar, okay? It's linked to your script, which is the script right here, tells it what to do. And then it's going to make it do it when it gets to it, okay? So what this is going to do is add in your cadabra. So you have abracadabra, and then this is just going to spin it while that program runs. If that program doesn't run, it will not spin it. It'll spin abra, but not pronounce the abracadabra, okay? Let's look at it from the beginning, okay? You got import BGE from BGE import logic. Okay, the first lines import the module BGE and then the submodule logic. Okay, so you import the BGE, and then from the BGE you're going to import your logic. Okay, no big deal here. We actually don't need to explicitly import the BGE module since we are importing a submodule directly. However, it doesn't hurt to do it. Lines 4 and 5 will store the current controller in a variable. I tell you what, that's funny. A variable, and create a pointer to the object where it was called from, known as owner. Okay, so it pulls it from the owner. That's this guy right here. All right, they actually have owner and controller owner above. Okay, we're not going to worry about because they changed it because it doesn't really matter where it's put there. Okay? Alright, so we are not using the owner variable here, but it's good to be familiar with it. You'll be using it a lot. Okay? So you got your controller, which const. Okay? Pull from your logic, get current controller. Okay? So that's going to say, where's your controller at? Oh, it's right here in the camera. So we're going to get this current controller. Okay? The owner is the owner of that controller, which is when it's selected, that's what it is. The owner of this controller is the camera. So it's going to get the camera. Okay? The following lines get more elements from the game to be used in the script. Scene will give you direct access to the current scene. Object is the current list to be used later, and text obj is one element of the object's list, accessed by its name in Blender. Okay, so it's going to be saying, okay, you need to find the scene. Okay, and you get the current scene, which is this little guy up here. Okay, you're going to get all the objects in the scene, so that'd be the camera and your lighting and your abracadabra. Okay, or your abra. Okay, then you're going to have a text object that's going to equal object.text, which is this little guy right here. Okay, you're taking that object, okay, you're identifying all the objects in the scene as it says, okay, I identify everything in here, now I need to find the text, and this is the text, okay? Alright, so remember when we said that the game engine is controller centric. All the sensors and actuators are accessed from the controller, not from the object they belong to, its owner. As you might expect, lines 11 and 12, which is, yeah, these two right here, it's actually these two, okay, respectively, read the built-in sensor and actuator list to get the one we are looking for. Okay, so it's going to go to all the sensors and it's going to say, okay, find all my sensors. This is your sensor, you named it my sensors, okay? This is your controller, this is your actuator, which is called my actuator. So you're looking for your sensors, and it says, okay, I found this sensor called my sensor. You make sure it's put in here because that's the one you want it to look for. You want it to look for my sensor, not my actuator, unless it's an actuator, which brings you to the very next line, which tells you to look for my actuator, which is this little guy right here. Okay? In a way similar to how logic bricks work, we are going to activate the actuator if the sensor triggers positive and deactivate it otherwise. The deactivation happens in the frame after the sensor ceases to validate. For example, the key is unpressed or the mouse button is released. Okay, so if sensor dot positive, so if the space bar is hit, okay, which is right here, that's pressed. Okay, yep, positive level triggering. It's all part of that, right? Okay, then you're gonna activate, okay, the controller. Okay, so this controller is now activated. Text object will now put cadabra on cadabra. Okay, if it doesn't, the controller will deactivate and the text will only put cadabra back. Okay, we are not restricted to controlling only actuators. The lines 15 and 18 change the text of the object when you press or release the space bar. Okay, so it's going to put cadabra if you hold the space bar, and it's going to leave it abra if you don't. Okay, this file can be simple, but holds an essence of the game engine architecture design. Now is a good time to go over the 3 game engine template files that come with Blender. Go to text editor, templates, game logic. So what they're saying is you're going to go here, okay? Yeah, you go here, you hit templates, okay? And this one doesn't have it because you have to go to Python because they put it in Python in the UPBGE version. Okay, now you got to go to game logic, okay, and spend some time studying those examples. Okay, so basically what they're talking, this right here gives you a breakdown of what this will do. That looks like a lot of code, but it's more comments. Okay, you can read it. It tells you what this does, tells you what all this does in the line as they're going. Okay, It tells you each one and why and it ends right here. Okay. All right. So you can also get them on the book files under Book Chapter 7 through Template. Okay. So that's what we got is right here. We're at 3 Template, and you can just look for it in there. Let me see if I can scroll through it. Open. Yeah, because it's not going to be in here because you're not going to be able to read it as a blend file. But you can go into that folder in your regular file folder, and then go ahead and bring up the template, and you'll see it in there. Okay, so let's see, where are we at? Yeah, we're at 15 minutes. So next week we're going to get into writing your Python script. So now that you know a little bit of basics about this, this will help you out later on in the long run. Go over the template, okay, GameLogic.py. You can also go into the setting up a module, or GameLogic.simple. GameLogic Simple just gives you the same things that you see on GameLogic, okay, which is this one. It will spread out all the comments. Okay, that's all that's for. People say, oh, well, I just chose Game Simple because I figured it'd be simple. This is the simple. Okay, it just doesn't have all the comments in it. You may or may not need it. Okay, so let's go there. There we go. We'll kick it back here. So we left off with the file 3 template abracadabra.blend. Okay, that's the one we left off with this week. And next week we'll start on page 23 with writing your Python scripts. Okay, so that's all we got for this week. Stay tuned until next week.